If you want the New Orleans Saints to shock the NFL and shock the Kansas City Chiefs, I need you to do one thing for me. Let's hit the thumbs up icon and like today's video, baby. And for today's video, what we're going to be breaking down is how the New Orleans Saints can shock the world, how they can upset the Kansas City Chiefs in Arrowhead, the two-time defending Super Bowl champions on Monday Night Football. Prime time under the lights. Can the Saints do it? I think they can. So we're going to dive into that here in just a little bit. Y'all stay tuned. Stick around for the whole video. Keys to victory and everything. We got some fun stuff to talk about. Monday Night Football, the scene is set. The New Orleans Saints are taking on the Kansas City Chiefs at ArrowHead Stadium. And the Chiefs, 5.5-point favorites. I actually expected a little bit more, but the total over-under is set at 42.5. This is going to be two good offenses matching up, having an absolute I think it's going to be a battle. I think it's going to be a fist fight. I think this is going to be a scrappy, tough game because the Saints are not a team that just are going to get rolled over. Neither are the Chiefs. The Chiefs are a quality football team, but we got a lot to discuss. We're going to break all that down in today's video. So really quick, let's get you guys caught up with what happened for both teams last week. So obviously, New Orleans Saints, I hate saying it, they lost to the team that has not won a Super Bowl and also blew a 25-point lead in a Super Bowl, 26-24, unfortunately. The offense at times was really, really bad, and once Taysom Hill got hurt early in the game, it just could not get going. Taysom Hill was a big spark for the Falcons offense. He started off with 2 touchdowns within the red zone. He was really, really good to get the game started, but then left the game, unfortunately, and the story of the game, like the defense played really, really good for the record. They did not give up an offensive touchdown. Like that is really impressive stuff. That being said, they are the kings of shooting themselves in the foot. There was a pick six. That was just honestly, Derek Carr should have just dirted. It was a messy pick six. Matthew Judon tips it up. Troy Anderson picks it off and runs it to the crib. Like, hell are we doing there? Muffed punt, Rashid. I love Rashid Shaheed. I'm the first one to defend him. He's one of my favorite players on the team right now. Can't be fielding a ball on the 2, especially when you're running backwards. And then just penalties were a massive problem, especially late in the game and at key moments. Paulson Adebo got quite a few penalties this past game. So, we really got to clean that stuff up when you're taking on the defending Super Bowl champions because the Kansas City Chiefs, they are a good unit. They are currently undefeated, 4-0, one of the few teams still one of the few teams still undefeated. Coming off a good win against the Los Angeles Chargers. Rashee Rice, he did leave the game with the knee injury earlier. He's more than likely not going to be active against the New Orleans Saints. And Travis Kelce, he did actually have his best game so far. It's not saying a lot. He only had like 89 yards, I believe, but he's still productive, and that's kind of what the thing is. That's been kind of the biggest thing missing in the Chiefs' offense is Travis Kelce hasn't been a huge factor. Now, with Xavier Worthy, there's 2 players I really want to focus. Xavier Worthy, Chris Jones. I think on both sides of the ball, respectively, they can hurt us. Chris Jones, one of the best, if not the best defensive tackle in the league. The Saints' interior offensive line is very, very beat up. That's not something it's not a matchup I'm looking forward to be quite honest. Xavier Worthy, I think he can be dangerous. I like Paulson Adebo / Marshawn Lattimore against Xavier Worthy in that matchup. That being said, it also comes down to the safeties because I expect Xavier Worthy to be used a lot like Rashid Shaheed where, you're going to have some normal routes, but a lot of just goes and a lot of deep balls, so you got to defend that as well. Now, a couple notable injuries for both squads. We don't, at the time of filming this video, have the official injury report, but these are the 5 notable injuries for the New Orleans Saints that I'm going to be monitoring on the injury report as that comes out here soon. Tyrann Mathieu dealing with a groin injury. Taysom Hill, he missed the Eagles game with a chest injury. He was questionable last week with a chest injury, but then ended up hurting his ribs on the other side. So that's definitely something to monitor. Hopefully he's able to go because he's a big part of the Saints offense. I'm not in the camp of risk further injury for any of these guys because this is a game, in my personal opinion, that doesn't mean a lot if you lose, but if you win, it's huge. Now, Willie Gay, he's dealing with a hand injury. He had a pretty bad injury very, very early in the game against the Falcons, and there's a picture that he posted on his Instagram story of him at the hospital. He's all wrapped up and stuff, so God, I hope that he can play because Mario Davis being injured as well is not very fun. I missed him a lot last week. Cesar Ruiz also dealing with a knee injury as the offensive guard. But the Chiefs, they have a couple injuries. Not as many, but a few that are notable. Like we mentioned, Rashee Rice, wide receiver. He has that knee issue. But Mike Dana, he also has a calf injury, the defensive end for Kansas City. So it's something to monitor. We're going to keep an eye out for that. And if there's any updates, we will let you know in our short form content or with a full video. Now, let us know in the comment section who ya got. Type S for Saints, type C for Chiefs. The optimistic fan in me, the guy that's like, you know what? I'm a Saints fan first. I'm a diehard. I bleed black and gold. That part of me says Saints. But the very realistic, the very honest, the part of me that's like, I want to give you truly honest and accurate content has me going with the Chiefs. I'm kind of split, but you guys need to sound off. Now, coming up for you on the video, we're going to go through my Saints keys to victory for Monday Night Football. I got 4 keys to victory, and we're going to have a lot of fun talking about each one, offensively, defensively, and everywhere in between. But friendly reminder, we will be live at 6 p.m. Central Time for Monday Night Football. So be sure to subscribe, turn on your notifications, come hang out. We're going to be giving away some cool stuff. We're going to be having a lot of fun, throwing down some drinks. Pre-game show starting over an hour early, so come and hang out for Monday Night Football. I'll have producer Chipper with me. We're going to have some fun. We always have a good time with producer Chips around, right? So come hang out, subscribe. And also, fun fact, we are going live for Thursday Night Football, Falcons versus Buccaneers. We're going live about maybe 15, 20, 30-ish minutes before, but also, we're going to give you a bonus watch party Thursday night. So if you're like, I don't really know if I want to watch my team play and I want to be focused on the Saints, that's totally fine. I get it. Come hang out Thursday night. Get a little sample of it. Try it out. It's like a little test drive, if you will. Try it out. See what you like. See what you think. And then come join us Monday night because I promise you'll like it. All right, so keys to victory. Number 1. You got to do one of these. You got to do one of these. Or one of these. As the kids are doing now, they're doing that. They're doing that as a celebration, which, for the record, I think is so sick. You got to put the straps on Taylor Swift's boyfriend because, quite frankly, he hasn't been great. I said it earlier. This past week, he had a little bit of a bounce-back game. But, again, it's not like it was anything special. And this season, he hasn't been a huge factor for the Kansas City Chiefs. Only 15 catches. He is averaging over 10 yards a catch, which is still pretty good, but I mean, this is a guy that we were talking about as one of the best receiving players in the league, not just as a tight end, but he was a dangerous guy with the ball in his hands. And I'm not sitting here saying that Travis Kelce stinks, but I will say with Travis Kelce, you got to be able to lock him up. That's going to come down to Alante Taylor. It's going to come down to hopefully Demario Davis is able to play. Those are things that you got to pay attention to. I will say this really quick as we move forward with these keys to victory. Obviously, Patrick Mahomes is a really good quarterback. I don't really have a recipe for how to stop him. Just force a turnover. That's my best thing. Force a turnover with him. Chris Jones, we're not going to talk about him because we already did. He scares the hell out of me. And obviously, we're going to need some good play from the interior offensive line. Not just them, but also Trevor Penning and Taliosa Fuaga. But like I said, got more keys to victory. Just kind of wanted to add that note there really quick. Now, before I get to key to victory number 2, 3, and 4, got to tell you guys about today's presenting sponsor, and that is Game Time, my favorite ticketing app in the whole wide world. And Game Time has a brand new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. At Game Time Picks, they filter out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. When you download the Game Time app, you create an account and use code CHATSPORTS. You'll get $20 off your first purchase. You can use those savings to get yourself some gear, maybe some concessions at an LSU game. Maybe you want to go see Tulane play. What about the New Orleans Saints here in a few weeks at the Superdome against Sean Payton, or when the Bucs come to town, when the Falcons come to town? There's a lot of fun games on the left in the season at the Superdome. And we also have tickets available all over the country. So it doesn't have to just be in the Gulf Coast region. You can get tickets anywhere you want. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS. That's code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Download the Game Time app. What time is it? It is game time. All righty, so key to victory number 2. This is a pretty easy one. I genuinely, when I was scripting this funny story, I was like, man, what do we got to do offensively? And it literally just hit me within a tidal wave. I was like, duh, give the ball to Chris Olave. And I'm going to just keep it real with you guys. I got a fever. I got a fever. And the only prescription is more Chris Olave. I need a little bit more Chris Olave. Da, 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 da. Having some fun. You know what we like to do here on the channel. But again, this is a meme, but it stands true. Feed Chris Olave. The guy has made plays on almost every single target he's had. 24 targets, 20 receptions. And I'm going to actually, on the fly here, I want to look up something because I'm almost positive this is the case. Chris Olave is coming off of his second game in a row where every target ended up in a catch. No, he didn't. 8 of 10. Most of the targets ended up as catches. He went 6 for 6 against the Philadelphia Eagles. He went 2 for 2 against the Carolina Panthers, which that was a blowout, but what the hell? Get him more involved in that game. 2 drops against Atlanta, 2 drops against Dallas. So he's been really, really good. He's been very, very accurate. He's also had an 83.3 catch percentage this year. His average depth of target, over 10 yards, and a 79.2 success percentage, meaning on first down, second down, third, and fourth down, were those a successful route? Was it a successful catch? Was it a successful play? 79.2% of the time, it is. And that is the highest of his career so far. So you got to give number 12 the opportunity to make plays, especially against a good team in a hostile environment under the lights. Now, by that same token, you can't let Xavier Worthy burn you. And it's 2 receiving things for the Chiefs, but like I go back to this point with I don't think the Chiefs, like I'm not saying they're a bad football team. Like they're a good football team. They're a very good football team, but I don't think they're as like let me rephrase. I think they're a lot more beatable than people are giving them credit for. I think they're a beatable football team. They haven't played the best games over the course of the season so far. They struggled against the Falcons. They also just like didn't play well early in the year. And, you know, some of that comes down to some of the team that they have. Some of that comes down to the coaching, which for the record is phenomenal. But let's go through their season so far. Week 1 against the Ravens in primetime, 27-20. They won. That was a good game. It's a good opponent, but then they also struggled against the Bengals, who haven't really been all that good this season. The Falcons, they beat very end of the game. The Chargers, 17-10. Like, the point is that these are beatable teams. And Xavier Worthy is a player that can really take the top of the Saints defense. He's been very, very good. He has had really good production so far, and it's been very similar to how the Saints use Rashid Shaheed. Now, for the New Orleans Saints specifically, these are the guys that you need to answer the call. Will Harris and Tyrann Mathieu. And I know a lot of you guys are going to be upset that Jordan Howden hasn't been starting and hasn't been getting as much run as Will Harris, but Will Harris has been good. Like, do not dare, don't you dare take any sort of credit away from Will Harris because he's been a good football player, and he's made a lot of plays. And to be honest, Tyrann Mathieu dealing with a possible injury makes me nervous. So maybe we do get more run with Jordan Howden and Will Harris this week. If Tyrann Mathieu is available to go, that would be really, really big. We all know that he's a player that is going to play if he's available. So I also think that this is a meaningful game for him and Willie Gay, especially considering both of them were former Chiefs and they're back at Arrowhead, I believe, for the first time in both of their careers since leaving Kansas City. Definitely for Willie Gay, but I believe that's also the case for Tyrann Mathieu. Now, this is a big one. And I put Paulson Adebo's face right there because I want to just read some stuff off to you. The New Orleans Saints need to stop these penalties. They are currently 24th. Excuse me. They currently have 24 penalties this season. That ranks 20th in the league. They also have those penalties racking up 220 total yards, which is 14th. Not ideal. Just straight up, not ideal. The Saints have 4 defensive pass interference penalties. All of them came from Paulson Adebo. Fortunately, 2 of those were declined, but Paulson Adebo specifically has a total of 6 penalties for defensive pass interference and defensive holding. There have been 5 offensive holding calls for the New Orleans Saints for 50 total yards. There have been 4 unnecessary roughness penalties for a total of 60 yards. And there's been 3 false starts for 15 yards. A lot of that is avoidable. A lot of that is sloppy, and a lot of that is just gross, disgusting, terrible football. Play smarter, play cleaner, play hard, play physical. That doesn't mean you can't do that, but you got to limit the penalties, especially when it comes to beating a team like the Kansas City Chiefs in their home stadium, under the lights, in prime time with the world watching. Now, before I get to my bonus key to victory, I also just want to say this. with the Kansas City Chiefs and with Paulson Adebo specifically, I counted him, or not, I called him out a little bit. That's what you get with Paulson Adebo. You're going to get a lot of turnovers. You're going to get a lot of pass breakups. You're going to get a lot of plays made. Don't get me wrong. Like, that's really, really good stuff. But you're also going to get a lot of penalties. Paulson Adebo is a player, excuse me, that's going to test what the limits that the refs are going to let him go. And he's going to go as far as he can when it comes to playing tough, physical, in-your-face defense. So that's kind of the risk to reward there with Paulson Adebo. I like him. I think he's a great player. Just got to limit those penalties, especially late in the game when you have the lead. Like, come on, that was infuriating. All right. I said 4, but I got a bonus one for you. The pass rush has to get home. Quite honestly, the fact that Alontae Taylor is leading this team in sacks, I mean, cool for Alontae. Like that, I don't want to take anything away from him. That's awesome. He has 3.5 sacks in the year. He is top 10 in sack production, I believe, right now. But where in the hell is Chase Young? I mean, you have 1 tackle for loss and half a sack. Carl Granderson was really good to start, but it hasn't really been anywhere. Cam Jordan has been getting less snaps. Okay, I get it. My point being, the pass rush has to get home. They have to make plays. Brian Brzee, Colin Saunders, Nathan Shepard. It doesn't just come down to the edge rushers. It comes down to everybody in the trenches. The pass rush has to get home. Alontae Taylor has done it fine. Maybe do a little bit more of that if you can't get pressure from the defensive line. Maybe that's what you got to do. But the pass rush has to win. They have to be good. They got to sack Patrick Mahomes. If you don't get a sack against Patrick Mahomes, I know it's hard to bring him down, but that is not how – you're not going to win if you don't have at least 1 sack. I'm just going to say that. You're not going to win this game if you don't bring him down at least 1 time. That's just my thoughts. Now, it's your turn. I gave you 4 and then a bonus, so 5 total keys to victory. What is your biggest key to victory? I want to give some shout-outs on Twitter really quick because I posted this out on my Twitter account. So just some names that are some keys to victory. I'll give some shout-outs here from Banjo Calarisan. He says, score more points than they do. It's obvious. Georgie says, secure number 17, so go trade for Devontae Adams. Maybe that's a fun one. D-Man Smith says it's not Saints versus Chiefs, it's Saints versus the refs. I mean, the refs might favor. We all know the Saints and the refs do not have a good relationship. The Chiefs do. Not shoot themselves from the foot from Marique. I agree with you. Celine says cover the tight ends well. Play clean, minimal penalties from Daniel. Loin bust. That's pretty funny. For 1, they're going to need to score more points than the Chiefs. And 2, stop Chris Jones. Win in the line of scrimmage from Founder. I totally agree with you. Hayden says run the ball effectively and actually get a clutch stop from your supposed elite defense. Run the football from out of Hornets. We also got Brum. Philly says Taysom Hill all 4 quarters. If he's healthy, he'll be a big-time factor. But the common one here is stop shooting yourself in the foot, and I could not agree more. Now, final thoughts. You're playing with house money here. No one expects the Saints to win. One expert, I saw the graphic of the NFL picks for the week. One expert picked the Saints. And, again, no one going into this season expected this team to win this game. So go win it. Like, why not us? Why can't we be the team that gives the Chiefs their first loss? Why can't we be a team that beats the Chiefs in their own stadium? Why can't we be the team that puts on a show against the defending Super Bowl champions in their home stadium on primetime? There's a few reasons why we can't, but there's more reasons why we can. The most important thing for me in this game is leaving healthy. It's not going in. It's not running up the score. It's not getting 50 points. It's not my biggest focus. If you go and win the game, that's first and foremost. But the biggest thing that's most important is you have to leave healthy. You cannot afford to rack up a ton of injuries because you got the Bucs coming up, the Falcons for a second time. You have the Broncos coming up. You have you have some talented units that you have to play against here, and you have to be able to have your best players on the field. So go and win this game. Why not us? Go shock the world. This is a team that can go and do that. This is not a bad football team by any means. It's a beat-up football team. Sometimes it's a sloppy football team, but they're a talented team nonetheless. So leave healthy and go kick their teeth in. All right. If you guys haven't already, be sure to subscribe. Lock us in for more Saints videos. Again, we'll be live. This video should be going out Thursday, so we should be live tonight here in a few hours for Thursday Night Football. Come and hang out. But also, we will be live for Monday Night Football, about 6 o'clock Central Time. So turn on your notifications, come hang out. And we will see you guys next time. Y'all stay golden. Have a wonderful day.